Hello, and welcome to the first ever episode of No Man's Sky Explorers. My name is Ryan.
And I'm Joelle.
And we're going to be talking about some No Man's Sky, but first we're going to talk about the podcast a little bit. First things first, I came up with the idea because there's no Man's Sky podcast anywhere, so I figured we could fill in the gap, and I happen to know a ridiculous amount of information about it, so we can try to help out some people that know a little bit less. Sorry in advance, because I talk super fast, and so does my wife. So we'll try our best to slow down for you guys. So the aim of the show is going to be trying to help newcomers, not primarily, but that'll probably be about half of it. We're going to have a Facebook page set up at facebook.com/No Man's Sky Explorers, believe it or not. You guys can post all your questions there, and we will answer them on the next show, so we can answer as many as we possibly can. Also, we're just going to be doing some analyzing of newer news clips, videos, anything we can get our hands on. And we'll also be talking about everything that's happened so far, so everybody can get caught up for the most part. So let's jump right in. We're just going to introduce ourselves here and a little bit about ourselves. I've been playing video games since before I could talk, unfortunately, so I'm a little obsessed. My wife, on the other hand, why don't you talk about your video game experience?
Well, I started playing on PC since before I can remember as well. I got my first Game Boy Advance when I was in 5th grade and didn't touch a console until I was in high school.
So, yeah, that's great. She's not as advanced as me intellectually or anything because she's dumb.
To translate, I'm not as big of a nerd.
This is true. So she's kind of a newcomer when it comes to No Man's Sky. She knows plenty about it just because she hears me raving about it nonstop, which I apologize for. But I'm going to try to make up for whatever knowledge she doesn't know, and then she'll learn some stuff too. It'll be fun. Ooh. So let's start out with so unprofessional. Hello Games. So this is the company that's making No Man's Sky. I forgot. I don't care where they're actually based, but they're in the UK. I don't know what city. I forgot. And they're a small indie studio who made Joe Danger. So they made a very, very small game, made a decent amount of money off of it, and then are now funding No Man's Sky with that small amount of money they made on that small game. It's incredibly ambitious for them, but the owner, I wouldn't call him owner, I guess lead programmer, Sean Murray, has wanted to make this game for a long time, and he's had it in his head for a really long time. So, kind of always been his dream. Let's see here. I'm sure you know a lot about Sean Murray, don't you, honey?
Yes, I know you have a massive crush on him.
He is beautiful. For everybody that doesn't know, No Man's Sky's main hook is its procedural generation. Which, I don't know, honey, do you want to explain that since you can't agree on a way we can explain it?
I said procedural generation was random generation within 2 limits.
Yeah, so it's basically, I like to say pseudo-random because I'm so cool. But
normal people don't understand what that really means too well.
Normal people don't play No Man's Sky, trust me. So basically, yeah, it's kind of random, but the developers make certain things that they have to stay between, so it's not completely random.
That is literally just what I said.
But I sound awesome, so I decided to say
you could work for IGN with these skills.
I know, right? Well, so could you.
Sorry, I think I'm already too advanced for that.
Oh, yeah, probably. So basically everything in the entire game is procedurally generated, which is kind of what's so amazing about it. It's a for now, I'll just call it a galaxy. We'll get more into that later. But it's an entire galaxy of planets, solar systems, ships, weapons. I mean, I can't even think. It's just everything. The only thing I think is not procedures generated are the aliens.
And their language, possibly, right?
But we don't know for sure yet. They haven't said anything about that. So yeah, every single ship you find that you can buy and everything, completely procedurally generated, so everything is unique. And
all the weapons, minerals, animals, plant life, everything. All random.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they basically have this awesome art team that goes and makes things look proper, even if they're randomly generated. So certain leaves will be on certain leaves will be on certain planets that have certain biomes and all kinds of stuff. It's just really specific stuff, like even the animals will be kind of similar to each other on a certain planet.
They all look like they could coexist within the same planet.
Yeah,
Nothing stands out as wrong.
It's really cool. Like, for instance, on some of the newer gameplay footage from IGN, and from a couple other sources like PlayStation, we saw them on Bellari 5, I think it's called, which is a planet they've been showing off, and there's kind of these giant dinosaur things, but there's also almost baby versions of them, and it's like looks like a different species, but it looks similar, so it's almost like they can, I don't know.
For any dinosaur nerds, it's a bit like the comparison between a Triceratops and a Protoceratops.
You're so smart, honey.
Ah. Can I say, I love dinosaurs.
So yeah, the procedural generation is the main hook. If anybody's played Spore or Minecraft, both those games, Minecraft especially uses procedural generation to create the entire world every time you make a new world. That's why it's always different. And Spore used a little bit of it, not as much as Minecraft for sure. But a lot of people compare this game to Spore just because of the scope of the game and what they're trying to do with it, even though it's really nothing like it, because it's entirely first person and just not like it at all. I hate when people compare games that aren't alike. Anyway, so let's talk about the gameplay loop at all. Blur. Don't mind me. The gameplay loop. So basically, it's a survival game, and supposedly it's hard. Really hard, according to Sean Murray. From the most we've seen from like videos and stuff, at least up to this point, there are a couple videos now that are showing some real like in-depth gameplay. What was I talking about?
In-depth gameplay and
totally
game loop.
Right, so from the most part with trailers and gameplay that he's shown before, it's pretty much him walking around a planet, looking at things that are pretty, and then it kind of ends with some awesome music, and that's it.
Sound like a critic.
Well, I mean, because I know so much about the game and I've read so many interviews, I know that the game is more than that, but most people kind of just look at the trailers and they're like, oh, it's just a walking simulator. But they don't know much about it. So yeah, recently we've gotten a lot more awesome, like, actual footage of him just playing, and actually recently they had somebody from PlayStation just steal the controller straight from him and decide that he was just going to start blowing stuff up. So it's good to see people just playing the game however they want, which is pretty awesome. He was naming everything after him. It was a good time.
Yes, the C. Anthony was my favorite.
There's crafting in the game. That's a heavy part of the survival aspect of it. Going to be mining resources, checking out cave networks. I guess in space you could break asteroids for resources. You can trade. That kind of brings me to kind of like the three main ways of playing, which is trading,
exploring, and fighting.
Thank you. Which I'm sure there's a million different ways to play it, but those are just the main core parts of it. And also each alien race is supposed to kind of represent each one of those, so you kind of know who to align yourself with, whatever you decide to do the most, I guess. So it'd be most beneficial if you sided with that alien race. So yeah, there's basically factions. I guess they're factions, if you think of it that way. Sure, they're factions. Let's call them factions. 3 factions, and they kind of just align themselves with those different things. So, pretty cool. Anything you've thought of so far, honey?
Nope, I'm just keeping tallies on my leg here with Sharpie of how many times you've said Oh,
that's what you've been doing.
Pretty sure I've missed a few, but you're at 29 right now.
Wow, I am winning. There I go again, start drawing. Crap, now I'm going to be really thinking about it this whole time.
I'm not going to have any leg space left
Try
after
not
this.
to say it. So let's talk about the number. The number. I'm sure you know this number by now. I've said it a couple. You don't know it by heart, but I'm going to read it off, and hopefully I don't screw this up. 18 quintillion, 446 quadrillion, 744 trillion, 73 billion, 709 million, 551,616. That's how many planets are in this game. So you're not going to be getting bored. Well, you might get bored, but you're never going to find everything. So that's another big hook. If you guys do any Google searches or know anything about the game, it's one of the main things people put right on the title, which is interesting. And I'm pretty sure Sean explained it as the highest they could go technically while using the type of code they're using. Something about something, integers, something. And I've heard a lot of different explanations of how much this number actually is. I forgot what the grain of sand was, though. Pretty sure it's more than the amount of grains of sand we have on the planet, which is pretty intense. So, yeah, there's plenty to do here, and one of the main things is that you're not going to run into... Oh, there's a fly in our house. Ew! We're not going to be running into, kind of MMO syndrome where everything is getting named 100 times and everything's getting... You can't name this because this person did this. Because first of all, I don't think they're going to implement that. Second of all, there's just too many things. And sharing will not be a problem, which is pretty awesome. And this game is not an MMO, but it has some single player plus features, I'd call them. I guess it's a solo game is what I'd call it. You play it single player, but it can be multiplayer, and that's with a big asterisk on there. Mainly because you can find people, and I guess they can kind of just fly around with you, but there's not really much of multiplayer mechanics, and there's really no way of telling who the heck people are or where they are, and you guys just got to figure it out if you want to find each other, and chances are you will never run into another human being while playing this game, because it is intense. What is my computer doing?
I think it's shut off. Also, it's in sleep mode.
Sorry about that. I think my computer went to sleep. And one of the more interesting things is when you actually start the game, basically everybody starts in the same galaxy, and everybody starts in a different place around the outer rim of the galaxy. So everybody has a starting planet, and kind of the goal of the game is to get to the center of the galaxy, and there is a unknown reward or conclusion when you get there to the story, which the story is kind of to be found, I guess. It's more of lore than an actual story, so it's going to be interesting kind of learning how the universe works and everything like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting for all those people that start in lava on their planet and get annihilated right away.
Have they shown lava? Or
no, they haven't. But
admitted that there's lava?
I'm telling you, there's lava. There's going to be lava. There better be. They keep showing these cold-ass planets, and I want to go on a freaking lava planet so bad. Now since they got the temperature display.
If it goes anything like Minecraft, you'll fall into lava, swear, and quit.
Or I'll grab a bucket and burn down your house like I normally do when we play together.
That's because you just lost, and you got respawned again.
Yeah, I'm a jerk. One of the big things when it comes to this game is that it is an indie game, and so a lot of people have certain expectations for it. Like, it's just an indie game, so it's going to be, I guess, not as... I don't want to say this.
They have lower standards just because of the company it comes from. Yeah,
kind of, basically. And one of the biggest reasons why people have mentioned this recently is because the game is available for pre-order, and it is a massive $60, which I wouldn't call massive. I'm just kidding. Which people don't think an indie game deserves that kind of price tag.
But yet you're still willing to pay $60 for the new Call of Duty.
Every freaking year.
It just changes the maps and gun colors.
Just wait for the one Call of Duty fan who watches this who's like, what the hell? You guys are hating on me.
Oh, it'll be like spotting a vegan.
Don't alienate our vegan listeners.
I'm sorry.
They just are opinionated, okay? Crap, what were we talking about? I got all sidetracked.
So did I.
Call of Duty. How sucky it is.
Oh, paying $60 for an indie game or indie studio game.
Right. So a lot of people are up in arms because they've been waiting for this game for a while and they expected maybe a $20 to $40 price range. But the thing is that they value how much work they put into their game, which I think is really respectful. Respectable? Respectful. Whatever.
Respectable.
Thank you.
I'm not sure... Where's I going with this? I don't know why you wouldn't want to pay $60 for a game that you're technically never going to run out of stuff to do in it.
Yeah, know? And even if you add the boredom factor on there, I think this game could really easily... Well, for me, I get hundreds of hours I'm already seeing, but like even people that aren't that interested, I feel like they're going to be pleasantly surprised, and I think they're going to put in at least 40 hours into this game.
Yeah.
Before... Or they'll just give up right away, because I heard it's pretty hard. one or the other. So it's just interesting to see how people reacted to that. And I think a lot of people have moved to the side of understanding that it's worth $60, or at least the company thinks so, which I think is good, that they value their product enough to sell it at the same price as a AAA title, especially since Sony is kind of going all out with the advertisement and helping them out the best they can to get it out there, which is kind of a complicated subject, but I should probably explain that, huh? Basically, Sony is helping out Hello Games to advertise the game. They have no creative input into the game or anything like that, but they are paying for all the advertisement because they saw it at, I think, VGX 2014 is when they first announced it. They saw it there and they decided, hey, we want to jump on this because this has a lot of potential. So they are working all the advertisement and everything for Hello Games for free, which is awesome.
Has No Man's Sky been released for pre-order on Xbox One yet?
Nope, because it's a PS4 PC exclusive. Because, and I think that's the only thing that they had to agree to when they accepted Sony's help when it comes to the advertisement, is that it is a PS4 exclusive with and it's funny, I never wrote this down to talk about, but glad you brought that up.
Genius.
I know. It's a PS4 exclusive with a PC release as well, and they're going to be released same time, June 21st. So that's pretty cool. And honestly, I don't care it's not coming to Xbox One because I don't care about Xbox. So
it's a very nice subtle middle finger from PlayStation to Xbox.
And honestly, there's a reason why Xbox isn't getting any really good exclusives, is because Microsoft is just a really bad company. Not saying that Sony's done their fair share of bad things, but you just see with the release of the Xbox One how much they don't give a crap about their people. So, and I'm not saying that anybody who owns an Xbox is bad, but I'm just saying I honestly think that the PS4 is a better system for playing video games. So.
While I can agree, maybe we should move away from that topic.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't be hating on everybody. I'm not trying to hate on people. I'm just saying I think the PS4 is better for playing games. I'm just going to throw that opinion out there. Justify. You know what? If people are listening to us about No Man's Sky, they probably have a PS4 or they have a PC. Okay?
Fair enough.
So we can be hated all we want.
No, you are the traitor of your family.
Yeah, my entire family has Xboxes. So let's talk about the... Did we finish talking about the multiplayer? I guess just to go into specifics, basically, if you do find somebody, it kind of automatically creates a lobby for you two to hang out with each other, but there really is no gameplay to support it. It's just there, so don't expect some crazy MMO multiplayer thing. It's really meant to be a single player experience. Sean has... Go ahead.
I think what's cool about it is that, while it is multiplayer, it gives off that alienating feel of what outer space would be like, even if there were other people in there.
Right, and
it's realistic in the sense that you won't really bump into anyone.
Yeah, and the galaxy's huge. And I think it's good that they show that the galaxy's huge. You're not going to be running into people every 3 seconds. Like in frickin' Elite Dangerous, when I move 3 steps and everyone blows me up.
Those were the best rage quits I've ever seen from him.
It was a good time.
He hid under the bed covers for a while.
So let's talk about the visuals. So that's a big thing when people are like, oh, this game is going to simulate space and da-da-da-da-da. It's so cool because it's like a space simulator. And it is technically, I'd call it a space sim, probably. It's a very unique space sim in the sense that it's kind of arcadey, is what I'd call it. It's less about realism and more about having fun. So... and then I'll draw, and this is probably the best comparison I can give. Even Sean gives this comparison about Elite Dangerous, which is a game I have thoroughly enjoyed, probably for about 20 hours of gameplay, and that was the whole time just trying to figure out how to heck to play the game.
A lot of crashing on the landing pads.
It's hard to land in that game. Once I got a controller working on it, it worked fine. But basically, in Elite Dangerous, everything is realistically scaled, so it takes forever to get anywhere. I mean, except when you're hyper speeding or whatever you want to call it. What would you call that?
Hyperspeed?
It's not light speed. Hyperspeed. Yeah, sure. You get to the next solar system pretty much instantly, but when you're going faster than light in between planets and things like that in the solar system, it takes forever. Like, it takes 15 minutes sometimes just to land on a freaking space station because you have to wait for the freaking ship to... I hate it. Anyway, it's cool, and I understand why people like it. I really do, and I really liked it when I first started playing it, but as a gameplay mechanic, it's not that good. It's cool, but it's not that good. one of those things that is good in concept, but once you implement it, it's like, what the heck was I thinking?
It's cool the first 2 or 3 times you do it, but anything after that, you are just bored.
Yeah, so No Man's Sky is kind of taking a break from that, and they're trying something new, which is completely kind of, I'd call it pretty freaking unrealistic, which is good, I think. Basically, all the planets are really close to each other, and the way Sean has explained it is that he wants the game to feel like a sci-fi book cover. And to just, it's a sci-fi game, not necessarily a space sim, it's a sci-fi game. So when you're on a planet, you can see another planet in the horizon, because that's how close they are. And you can make up details on that planet's surface, because you're close enough to see that. And it's just a cool idea, and I really like it. Especially when it comes to artistic direction, I think that's pretty cool, especially since, well, Sean and his art director got in fights about it until they finally decided to go the more artsy route. But I'm glad they did, because I think it was a really, really good idea. Another thing is that the graphics might not look super amazing the first time you look at them, and that's because of the way that kind of the art style is with the colors.
I wouldn't say it doesn't look amazing.
Well, that's like when your dad was watching it, and he's like, so, are they going to make the graphics better before it comes out? And I'm like, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry.
I don't really see where the criticism is coming from that. It's just a different style. I mean, nobody who has any kind of intelligence would complain Minecraft looks bad, because that's how it's supposed to look.
Right.
This is exactly how it's supposed to look. When you look at the way they've made it all blend together, it looks really well.
Yeah, yep. I agree, and I like that they kind of have this like color scheme thing going on for certain planets and all kinds of stuff, so everything just kind of feels like it fits together in a really cohesive and awesome way.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and like the same thing, like some of the newer footage, we kind of got to see some details really close to some animals, and I was thoroughly impressed by how detailed these animals were when you got really close, like the little bits of hair on them and stuff, and I was like, wow, like procedural generation did that. They didn't even make that creature, which is one of the coolest things about this game, is that when this game comes out and they reset the servers for live play, is that none of the developers have experienced any of these things, because it's all procedurally generated, so everyone's finding everything new, and everyone will have their own experience, which is going to be awesome for social media and things like Twitch and stuff like that when people show off some of the things they find. So that is awesome. Anything else you want to say about the art direction? No?
Not much.
I forgot what else I wanted to say. But I mean, I wouldn't say the game is graphically intensive, especially if you go to the Steam page and you check out the system requirements. It's not too bad. Most of the PS4 hardware is going to be used to make the procedural generation work, because I should explain this real quick. Everything is generated on the fly. They use a very special algorithm that I don't think has been used to this extent before. Basically, when you are near something, it's generated, and when you leave, it's completely deleted. And a lot of people think that if they come back, what they did will be gone. Like if they blew a hole in the ground, it's not going to be there anymore, but that's actually not true. When you come back, the hole will still be there, and everything would have moved on like it would have in time, which is really cool. So they're basically saving all this extra memory, so the game will run better by deleting things once you leave, and only generating things once you appear. But time still flows. And the way Sean explains it is, if you run an equation, like let's say your position in the universe is the integer that goes into the equation. That's the only thing that gets sent to the equation. So every time you go back to the same spot, that same integer is used and everything is generated correctly again. Except it saves a little bit of things that you did, which is really cool. And time actually flows, which is awesome, which is another integer that goes into the equation. Integer. So yeah, I think that's really awesome. Sorry I talk so fast, guys.
It's a good thing my grandparents don't listen to this. They would have no clue what you're saying.
They'd be freaking like, what the heck? So let's talk about why No Man's Sky is important to the gaming industry. This is just a quick snippet I wanted to talk about. I know, it's intense. It sounds intense. And after this show, I'm going to be really excited to talk about things that you guys are asking questions about. So please go to the Facebook page, ask questions, so we have more to talk about. Because there's only so much we can talk about at this game, and I want to do a podcast every week. So that'd be awesome. So let's talk about the gaming industry and what No Man's Sky is. One of the biggest things that I like about this Hello Games, the company, is that they're doing the $60 price point, and they're not ashamed of it. And AAA titles are going to have to freaking learn something from it.
It sets a standard
Yeah.
that the AAA games aren't living up to and have been coasting by on.
Yeah, it's insane.
It shows what people can do with hard work and smaller teams.
Instead of just a shit
these
ton of
huge
advertisement.
companies are not managing to pull off.
Right. Like, I used to love Assassin's Creed, and now they just keep... They're just so bad. Anyway, the last good one was like Black Flag, I think. And, yeah, I think it's going to be really cool, especially if the game really succeeds. I already know it's going to succeed. It's just whether the reviews will come in highly positive or not. Like, I think they'll be above 9. That's my prediction. But if they're above 8, that's probably good too. But yeah, if they're above 9, that's really going to rock the gaming industry and tell them that they friggin' suck at what they're doing. But yeah, it's games like Call of Duty that come out once a year for $60, and you do the same thing in it, and people buy it and play it for 5 hours and never play it again.
It must be so entertaining to listen to a 10-year-old claim about how he banged your mom last night.
It's a good song.
Or as your little brother said, your mom's a lesbian.
Yes. Yes. Catching me off guard.
Sorry, that's just one of my favorite quotes he's ever done.
It's funny that I got to hear it from my mom, though.
She didn't seem remotely ashamed either.
Yeah, so yeah. It'll be interesting. I'm really excited. And there's a couple interesting YouTube videos on that. If you guys ever watch Jim Sterling with his super cockiness, he's kind of got a good point. He does talk about the $60 price point and what it means for the gaming industry. And hopefully the game succeeds. And I already know it does. I mean, they've already sold 150,000 pre-orders, according to the subreddit. People talking about it. I think there was a news article on it. And that's only PS4 versions. So, yeah, hopefully... And I'm pretty sure more people are playing it on PC, so maybe double that. I'm pretty sure they made a decent amount of money so far, which is awesome. So once the game actually comes out, I'm excited to see what the sales figures are and what the reviews are. Like I said, my prediction will probably be above 9 or 9 or above. If less people understand the game, probably 8 or somewhere in the 8 to 9 range. But I do not think I don't think the Metacritic will go below 80. So, in my opinion. That's what I think. You guys will come back to this one day and be like, Ryan was right, even though it's like a super vague prediction. Just tell me I'm right when that happens. Just like message me on Facebook and be like, Ryan, you were really right. I'd appreciate it.
I don't tell him he's right ever, so he needs this validation in life.
I do. So let's talk about why we like the game. You want to talk about it first?
Well, I probably wouldn't know it exists if Ryan hadn't told me about it for the last few months obsessively every few hours. What was the question again?
I guess what are you most excited for about the game?
In a sense, it feels like a blank canvas because there's so many possibilities of what you can see, what you can explore, what you can do. The story feels like it's something really your own, and it doesn't feel quite as unrealistic as, say, like being the Dragonborn and being, Busro dying everything. It feels slightly more tangible that I could be just someone exploring space because humanity's gone there rather than, slay dragons.
Right.
I like it because I feel like I can be that person, that this is something I can do.
Right. Since
we live in that age where we're kind of in between, knowing about space and exploring space.
Okay, awesome. I'll send you back down memory lane while I explain my reason why I love the game so much.
Here we go.
I'll try not to take too long here.
You will.
Basically, I'll bring you back to my childhood. My dad had this awesome telescope, and he'd let me look at it like 2 times and then forgot about it. But we looked in the sky, and I'm like, wow, there's planets up there. There's things that need exploring, and we can't explore it. And you know what? The whole world is pretty much already explored. So what am I going to do? And so I kind of always grew up wanting to explore things,
Just going to interrupt. Yeah. Most of the oceans have not been explored.
No one cares.
Just saying that.
Anyway, so basically No Man's Sky is my outlet for doing all that exploring that I was never able to do. I mean, the developers don't know what's out there. Nobody knows what's out there. So every time you meet new enemies or find new planets. You're experiencing it on your own. You're cataloging it, and it's just this amazing thing, and I'm excited.
I remember you telling me when it first came out that this is the exact idea you had wanted for a game, and that somebody had actually done it, and you were so excited because that idea was there.
I felt ripped off because they stole my idea.
Whatever.
I feel like a lot of people feel this way. If you go on the subreddit, I do feel like a lot of people talk about this, that they had kind of had this idea for a game, but just thought it was improbable. And here it is being made, and it's so close, only about 2 months away.
Well, you can't feel ripped off because you lack the ambition to do it.
That's true. Well, my idea was a little more technical. I wanted to be able to create life itself in a program. It's really nerdy.
God complex.
Yes. I wanted to create a program that would have atoms in it, and it would just all create itself by setting up all the parameters for all the different atoms. But that's a whole different thing.
Oh my.
Yes, I'm a nerd. But yeah, this is close enough. So, I really just wanted to like watch it unfold. I didn't want to like play it, but it's exciting. I think the gameplay will be really fun. I like the arcadey style. I like that you can just grab a ship, head out of a planet, super quick, and jump into another planet, land, and start doing other stuff.
It makes it feel like the game is much more focused around exploring than traveling. It's more about what you can do, rather how long can you sit in this cockpit and fly around.
Yeah, like another game I've heard of called Elite Dangerous. Once again, I had fun with the game. It just doesn't have the things I want in it.
You're still sore because those people ambushed you.
Yeah, and people ambush me every 3 seconds. God, even if it's not real people, it's just AI, every 3 freaking seconds.
And then when you try to ambush people, the person you're ambushing blows you up.
True. I got a little better. I had a decent ship. I spent like 150,000 credits.
Okay, this isn't about
Sorry,
that
I'm
game.
sorry. I'm off topic. Sorry. So let's talk about the lovely bearded Sean Murray. Would you be able to touch my mouse real quick?
No, I'm stuck over in the super uncomfortable
I gotta turn
chair.
off that setting. Make the audience happy for a second.
What am I talking about again?
I don't know. Make them happy.
Oh, so we were talking about Sean Murray.
Oh God.
What I think is most noticeable is that his interview skills have gotten quite a bit better since he started doing all of his interviews. He went from adorable and a little overwhelmed, and now he sounds pretty confident about where his game has gone.
I like to look back at the 2015 E3 press conference they showed. They showed like a 5-minute video. Sean was on stage demonstrating the game, and he looks nervous as hell. And it's just... it makes him more human because, you know, other people from different companies come up and they've just done this a million times and they're just trying to get you hyped for the game. But Sean's just trying to show you his game and he's nervous as hell.
You can see the passion in what he's presenting and the hope that you will enjoy it as much as he does.
Yeah, and I kind of get sad thinking about it, thinking about that he'll never be able to enjoy the game.
But he made it full well knowing that that was how it was going to turn out. I
guess. It does make me a little sad, though, because I think he kind of had this idea for a game, and he's like, I can't wait to play this, and then he started making it, and then it's almost like he ruined it for himself, you know? Like, he's never going to be able to play it the way that we play it. He's just going to look at it. He even said that when he's on a planet, all he sees are graphs and lines and things that he could improve, and he's just like, I can't really play it. I'm just, you know, I'm making it.
He's too deep in it.
Yeah, I'd be the same way when I have tried making video games like 2 times and given up. But the sad part is I enjoy them way too much when I play them.
It's adorable, dear. Those little games you made.
I was about to say, you know, I'm not even going to say what that game was because someone's going to steal my idea.
Someone's going to steal that idea.
Yeah.
All
Maybe
right.
millions of dollars someday.
Oh, God, I hope.
But yeah, he's just a really cool guy. He does all the interviews and everything, and he kind of shows off the game. Every so often. He's got a lot of stuff going on right now. Poor guy. He probably hasn't even been programming at all. He's just doing
It's fun
his press.
watching his beard progress.
Yeah, you
It's
can
quite
tell.
majestic.
You can tell when they've really been deep in programming and stuff because he comes out like he hasn't seen the light in years. It's like burning. But yeah, it is interesting to see his progression, being able to talk to people better over about a year, I'd say. It's been really interesting.
He's come far.
But he's a really awesome guy, and if you really love him, you can always go to the subreddit, Sean, I think it's called Sean Inside Me. I recommend looking that up if you want to look that up.
Sean, if you ever listen to this guy's in love with you. I will happily let him divorce me so you two may become married.
Oh,
if that's how you want it
well,
to be.
he's gonna be. He's probably already rich just from the pre-orders.
Yeah, there's really no doubt he's already rich.
So I want to.
Dang, why am I letting you take him?
All right, so let's go on to Galaxy versus Universe real quick. One of my awesome topics I wrote down. All right, so is No Man's Sky a galaxy or a universe? This is the most common question when people first hear about the game, and it's very confusing because Sean is a little misleading about it. He usually calls it a galaxy when they're talking in an interview, but he has stated on record that it is a universe, and I'll explain why he says it's a galaxy. First off, they originally had it on their website as explore an infinitely procedurally just something universe, okay? And then right before they did an interview with Game Informer in 2014, they changed it to Galaxy. And then when they were on it's a podcast interview, you can look it up on YouTube on Game Informer. They just reposted it actually. One of the first questions they ask right at the beginning is, okay, Cobra TV actually asks, he's a YouTuber that talks about No Man's Sky quite a bit. He asks, hey, is it a galaxy or a universe? Because it's like you guys are using it interchangeably, and hopefully that's a word. We don't know what it is. And so Sean specifically states that he makes a little joke about the HR, or them changing it to galaxy on the website. And he says, yes, it is a universe with multiple galaxies. Everyone just starts in the same galaxy. Now, they kind of pressed the issue a little bit, and he said, okay, let's not spoil it for anybody, but yes, it's a universe. Let's just keep it at that. Since then, it seems like they call it Galaxy more than Universe, and they never changed the stuff on the website, and I think that's because Sean doesn't want to spoil things for people about the game. So spoiler alert, we're going to talk about it.
Or perhaps there's a totally unthought of twist.
Or that too. But this involves the center of the galaxy, so I think it's about 90% chance that it's true, so if you don't want to hear it...
Where did you come up with that percent?
Subreddit. But basically, the idea is that when you get to the center of the galaxy, you will be able to, or will be, transported to another galaxy. Or you might get your, hyperdrive upgraded so you can travel from galaxy to galaxy, or it just throws you into the next one or something. And that's why he clarified it's a universe, and that's why he said he didn't want to spoil anything, was because that's what's at the center of the galaxy. That's what I think, at least, and I think most people would agree if you look it up on the subreddit, which is No Man's Sky the game on Reddit. So, I mean, that's just what I think, but I'm pretty smart, so I don't know.
Well, if any of you guys have any other ideas, please let us know on our Facebook page.
True,
and
I would totally do that.
Possibly you could sway him and give... We went through this whole thing with the new Star Wars movie coming out. For the longest time, Ryan thought that Luke was Kylo Ren.
I was convinced.
In the helmet. For the longest time. And then about a month before it came out, he's like, oh, no, totally not.
What, are you talking about, Rey Kenobi?
No. We are not going there tonight.
Anyway, we probably shouldn't talk about any spoiler stuff for Star Wars.
Okay, you know what? It's out on Blu-ray now, if they haven't seen it yet.
Well, that's not fair. Give it like 10 years.
Yeah, no.
But that movie is awesome. Go see it. Anyway, No Man's Sky. So let's do one more topic, and then I think we'll be done for the day here.
Oh yeah, it is technically day now. It's 12:40 in the morning.
Yeah, we're recording this pretty late because we love you guys. Just kidding. We don't even know you yet. Let's talk about the success of the game. Do you think it will succeed?
Me?
Yes. I'm asking an outsider here. Do you just think it will succeed?
Yes.
Awesome. Why do you think that?
It seems to be a well-done game. The concept seems rather unique as compared to what a lot of game studios are spitting out these days. It seems like a renewable source of fun. You're not going to get sick of doing the exact same thing.
On that point, Sean has stated that he's going to be adding, if the game is successful, he's going to be adding free DLC to the game as fast as he can. So he
just was elevated to God as of this point for being able to do that.
He is God.
Who likes paying for, $60 for DLC that they should include?
Yeah, I'm obviously going to agree with my wife. I think it will be majorly successful. I know that not that many, a decent amount of people know about the game, but I think once we get a little closer to E3 this year, people will know about it, and I think people will buy it, and the word will spread even if the advertisement isn't super successful, and I think they're going to be very successful. And then hopefully they can just focus on adding more stuff to the game after that if they're really successful with it. I don't know what the heck they're going to do next, though.
I was just going to say, it's incredibly hard to fathom what else they could put into something like that. It's just so broad.
Well, I don't know what they're going to do next for that game, and I don't know what they're going to do next for another game. How are they going to make profit after that?
Well, didn't you tell me at one point this was basically his game and he wasn't planning
He
to
might
do
just
anything
never
else?
make any more games.
I thought
Who
you had
knows?
told me that.
I don't know for sure. I don't remember. That was a while back.
Were you speculating?
I was probably speculating. But yeah, even Sean has said there's not going to be a No Man's Sky 2, because that just wouldn't make sense.
No, that would not make sense in any way.
I completely agree. It'd be kind of dumb. But maybe they can get a partnership with like Ubisoft and they can just force that through as a cash grab. So I'm pretty excited. I think the game's going to be really successful. I know what we've been talking about today has been kind of all over the place, basically because I'm trying to fill in an episode with stuff.
He threw this together in like an hour tonight because his mics arrived in the mail and he couldn't wait to get home from work, and this is all he's been doing, ignoring me and the baby.
I love me some No Man's Sky. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I really, really think the game will be very successful, and I'm excited to see what happens with it. What else do we got to talk about? Should we end it here?
You're the one who has the little script in front of you.
I think that's good. I think we should probably go to bed. It's pretty late.
All right.
So let me go over a couple things before we go real quick. Oh, I opened my camera. God, sometimes I feel like an idiot. All right.
Sometimes.
First things first, like I said before, please go to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/No Man's Sky Explorers. What do you know? That's the name of the podcast. Please post a question on there so we got something to talk about next week. I'll keep trying to squeeze as much as I can in there. I want to have one central discussion and then just questions all around that so we can kind of fill in. I know we're not going to have a huge audience right away, but please ask us questions. It is appreciated. We will answer every single one of them. I promise. That's right. You're going to have to deal with it.
No, we won't answer every single question. It'll be every question related to No Man's Sky.
Oh, no. I'll answer every question.
Saying we are,
every single question.
We're not going to give out our address or Ryan's bra size. We're, keep it related
If you want
to
my
the
social
show.
security number, I'll let you know. But please, ask questions. I would appreciate it. Also, I know it's a little early, but I did set up a Patreon account for us just so we could make a little bit of money off the show. We're going to be spending a little bit of time on it. And I do also, even though I just got the equipment, I do want to upgrade already. And I would use the Patreon funds to upgrade some things for the show. Hopefully the sound quality is adequate for you guys. If it isn't, let us know, and we'll try to get it better.
This way you could hear all the ums clearly, which we are at 20, 30, 40,
I just added
50,
3 more.
60... 67.
Woo!
You had more than one per minute.
I'm winning!
That's
wow,
not winning.
That's intense. Okay, you know what? It's not as bad as some people. Okay?
Pretty sure I had 3.
No one cares. Also, check us out. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you're listening to us on iTunes. Please leave us a review. Let us know if sound quality's good. I don't know for sure, so hopefully don't leave us any terrible reviews. But we appreciate 5 stars, obviously, so we can... so when people search for No Man's Sky, they can find us and they can learn a little bit about the game. I'm hoping that people will tell their friends to listen to us so they can learn a little bit. But yeah, we'll try to get some more intense discussion going on the next episode. Just send us some questions. We really appreciate it. Other than that, I think we'll be good to go. What do we say now?
I don't know. You're awkwardly staring at me. Like
I don't know how to do an outro. So thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week. Do you want to say thanks to?
Thank you very much for listening and putting up with this. It probably sounds questionable.
Probably super amateur, but we'll get better. We promise.
Possibly.
Thanks for listening, guys. Have a good day.
Bye.